Oh yeah, Friday. Here we come. Here we are. One more hour left of coffee, then something else goes in this cup. Ha ha. Hoo hoo. It's Friday.
Why are you drinking coffee at 6 o'clock at night?
I do it on Fridays because I like to stay up and watch a documentary because I'm really exciting. So I will always fall asleep at 9 or 10 if I don't give myself a little caffeine. So Friday nights I would let myself do it. So welcome to the Jam, everyone, and Felicia Lawrence and Amy Rutledge here with me. And by the way, speaking of 1 hour, not only is it Halloween tomorrow, not only is it a blue moon tomorrow, but tomorrow night we turn those clocks back an hour. Which makes tomorrow's sunrise the latest one we'll get in Chicago ever, 7:22 in the morning. So we'll wake up to 6 o'clock sunrises again for a little bit, which I'm excited about. But then the sun sets at 1 in the afternoon. So
let me just tell you, if you have kids and small ones, as I do, my 3-year-olds, it doesn't matter. It just means that your day is messed up because they are not going to sleep later or get up any earlier, and it just messes up the whole schedule for a week.
Yeah, wait, fall backwards. Wait, which way do you fall?
Yeah. Spring forward, fall backwards.
Thank you.
Well, you can fall either way. It depends on how much you've had.
That's why I got confused.
You
need spring to deduce. Okay.
You can spring backwards too. Anything you can try anything. If you're a gymnast, you've got a lot of options.
Okay. Well, more sleep is what I heard, so I'll be focused on that.
There we go. All right, guys, let's roll right in here. The Illinois 4th Congressional campaign is well underway, 4 days till the election, and it features incumbent Democratic Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia. We talked to him last night.
And today we have his challenger, the chairman of the Republican National Hispanic Assembly of Illinois, Jesus Solorio. Thank you for being here. There's so many issues to get to, so I don't want to waste any time. We appreciate your time. You were critical of the Justice and Policing Act, saying that it was too broad and will handicap the ability of cops to do their job. I can understand that argument, but something has to happen. Some type of police reform has to happen. So what are you proposing?
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. So I decided to run for Congress because I just saw how our elected officials have completely failed our communities, and policing is one of those areas that needs drastic attention and reform. And so every local entity controls their police department. And what we've seen is that, unfortunately, Chicago and other Democratic-run cities are having an abysmal relationship between the police department and the communities. So if I get elected to the 4th Congressional District, that's going to be one of my goals, is to amend those relationships and work together between community leaders and the members of the police department so that we can improve and make sure that we're not seeing everything that we've saw in the past couple of years.
I asked a similar question to Congressman Garcia last night about Joe Biden. I'll ask it of you about President Trump and other Republicans. Are they doing enough, him and the Republican Party doing enough for Latino Americans?
Specifically for Hispanic Americans, the president, whether you like the president or not, has done an outstanding job. Look, before the coronavirus, we saw the lowest unemployment numbers among Hispanic Americans and minorities across the board. He's invested in traditionally Black colleges. He's invested heavily, and not only that, allowed the colleges to have money for the next 10 years. So there's a lot of things that the president has done to improve the lives of minorities and every American in this country. Unfortunately, here in Chicago, we're not seeing any of that because we've been controlled by Democrats for 80 plus years. And we see what that has brought us, nothing but chaos and high taxes and corruption.
I want to talk about fixing the economy after the pandemic, or I guess you could say during the pandemic too. You said, I saw your Sun Times article, you said that local elected officials need to pass pro-business regulations. I 100% agree. In the wards that I have businesses in, I don't feel like the aldermen are very business savvy just because that's not their background. They've been in politics or they've been in nonprofit. So how can we get our elected officials to better understand business people, to kind of help foster those, support those small businesses and of course, job growth?
Yeah, and I can tell you that right now. I've been talking to business owners in my district, and they're all terrified and afraid of what these restrictions and the loss of revenue and them not being able to keep their employees in the payrolls. And it's because a lot of these elected officials have never had a real job in their life, have never had or created a job. And so what we need to reduce regulation. Now, that doesn't mean to cut back on every regulation, but there's redundancies throughout our federal government, our local government, and there's definitely ways that we can cut back and reduce the red tape and bureaucracy to allow these businesses to start and to flourish. And we're not seeing that with our elected officials here in Chicago.
All right, Mr. Solorio, thank you so much for your time today. Good luck next Tuesday as well. For more information on his campaign, or you can find more about his platform, there's all the information on your screen, solorioforcongress.com. And for all election things, of course, elections.il.gov is a great place to go. CW26 has got you covered too.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot unveiled her 10-day preparedness plan to prevent looting and unrest in the city around Halloween and Election Day. Of course, the city bracing, a lot of businesses are bracing for what's to come or what could possibly come. Garbage trucks and heavy vehicles will be used as blockades. Special hotlines are set up in each of CPD's 22 districts. And of course, she has stressed there will be a zero tolerance policy. And they've been training for this since late summer to be able to brace the city for the election and any potential unrest. And they're also encouraging that you sign up for public safety alerts at notifychicago.org. But guys, our police, I just talked to my police friend, they've been on these 12-hour shifts for weeks and weeks and weeks. This could be a contentious weekend, but of course we're crossing our fingers that it's not.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they've had a lot of training in this over the summer. A lot of peaceful protests, a lot of unpeaceful ones, and certainly, to be sure. Let's hope we don't need it, but I do appreciate there's a plan, right? Like, I think a lot of people attacked the mayor's office in late May, early June, when we saw, them try and control things downtown, but then it filtered into the neighborhoods, and they were accused of not having some sort of action plan. So at least they think that they're prepared more this time around.
Yeah, it's nice to see the plan in place and that they're thinking ahead. It's not just election day, it's Halloween weekend because, we've got COVID cases spiking and the kids are going to be out and people are going to be out in general. And it's a little bit about keeping an eye on things and how people's emotions are trending as we go through the weekend and into election week.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, guys, when she lost her hair at just 2 years old, Rosie Quinn grew some very thick skin. She has spent the last 7 years since teaching others to be kind and understanding. She and her mom, Paula, are now award-winning authors. Welcome, Rosie and Paula. Great to have you guys back on the show.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, guys, so I got to ask, what brought about the book? I mean, I know we're on quarantine, probably need something to do, but this must have been something you had in the works for a while, yes?
Well, so it started, my mom went to therapy when I first lost my hair because she was really nervous, as any good parent would. She would go to therapy to talk to a therapist about how she was feeling and all that.
And she encouraged me, thanks, now the whole world knows I went to therapy, but it's a great place. And I wasn't upset about Rosie's hair loss. I think I was just trying to deal with people coming up to us and all of the unsolicited comments that would come, like, why is your child bald? What treatment is she going into? And it became a little obtrusive. So I was talking to my therapist and she's like, you should really write your feelings down. And I'm not a fan of, I have this rule, I don't write anything that I don't want covered, on the cover of the New York Times. So I wrote a children's book for Rosie, and it kind of inspired me. Rosie inspired me because I thought I was hiding my feelings one day when she was first diagnosed, and she came up to me and she's like, Mom, don't worry, my hair's just on vacation. So it was kind of one of those moments, and we came up with adventures of where her hair would go every night before bed, and we went to Disney World a lot. Yeah, I think every night.
Disney World and Disneyland.
Yeah, the Disney World, Disneyland, and California and Italy to visit family, and that's just kind of how it started. And the book was just primarily for Rosie and for our family. It's basically Rosie's alopecia journey, and it wasn't until last year we're on a road trip.
We were on a road trip. This all started at a road trip. And my dad is like, we were looking for something to talk about. And my dad's like, Paula, why don't you go look back in your Google Docs and see about the book. See that book you wrote while you were in therapy? And mom's like, oh my gosh, good idea. So she like brought it up from like 2014, 2015, and there it is. So then she had to finish it because it wasn't finished. And then she got it edited, and now here we are. It's published.
And all the proceeds go back to the charity. So it's kind of started as like a, what's another way to fund money for Rosie's mission? And thanks to my husband and thanks to Rosie, this is how it began.
And for people who don't know Rosie, Rosie is an amazing little girl who helps other kids who've lost their hair, be it to cancer or other issues, decorate their heads with their own artwork. You can print them out on her website. It's a wonderful non-for-profit. So the book proceeds going back to that nonprofit is amazing. And Rosie, like, your spirit is never dampened. How do you always stay upbeat?
Sometimes it can be a little hard to stay upbeat all the time, but sometimes there's it, like COVID, that has really brought us all down a lot, and under quarantine has been maybe a little bored, but I was like, well, we should be happy. We should be happy that we're staying safe and that we're staying at home, and we should be happy because I go to a Catholic school. So I got to go to school today. So that's what I'm happy about. I think about the positive things instead of all the negative things.
Oh, man, I love you. I wish you were in my house to brighten it up every day. Rosie, you're amazing. Sorry, I was saying we're out of time, but we want to make sure that everybody gets all the information about the nonprofit and the book, of course, as well. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and best of luck to you. You can follow Rosie and all her adventures on Instagram. Of course, her webpage, as you can see there, cominguprosies.com. And of course, the new book, My Hair Went on Vacation, is available now where books are sold. Brandon.
All right, coming up, the latest on alleged Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse, plus presidential endorsements. We've seen Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Bruce Springsteen roll out their endorsements, but do they actually matter? We're going to talk about that coming up in New Need to Know. Krista, I endorse you, and what's trending? How do you like that? You like my endorsement?
Thank you so much, Brandon, because I'm dressing the part today. Halloween's trending, and I've got a fabulous way, you see me? Way that you can celebrate at home. We'll be right back.
Time now for the news you need to know. I'm Brandon Pope. A Lake County judge says Kyle Rittenhouse should go to Wisconsin to face murder charges for the Kenosha protest shooting. 2 people died and a 3rd person was injured in that August incident. Actress Lori Loughlin has reported for her prison sentence. She's serving 2 months for her role in the college admissions scam. And enthusiasm for this election is high in Texas and Iowa. Both states' early voting numbers have surpassed the total votes cast in 2016. That is absolutely amazing. What do you think about that, John?
Brandon, first of all, thanks for putting your microphone on during this segment. That's really helpful.
Yeah, it's about time.
The latest
I had to run
update,
and grab tissue and I forgot.
Well, you might be crying over these voting. I won't say anything. 86 million votes already cast. If that was compared to 2016, that'd be 62% of the electorate voting nationwide. We still got early voting happening in some states over the weekend. And obviously, we ain't even to election day yet. So good numbers.
Yep.
Pretty nice. All right, guys, political endorsements. It's that time of the year again. They're rolling in from all kinds of public figures, people shaking their heads at some of them. Brett Favre, Jay Cutler, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, even Bruce Springsteen have all turned heads with their choices. But do these endorsements actually matter? Because I was looking into some research because I do wonder how much they actually do matter. A University of Maryland study actually showed that in the 2008 race with Barack Obama, they estimate that Oprah's endorsement of Barack Obama added an additional 1 million votes to the count. That's what they estimate based off their numbers. So, I think they obviously matter to the campaigns, right? Because they're trying hard to get these public figures to weigh in and throw their support behind them. I don't think they really do anything to sway anybody either way.
Well, aside from that, yeah, I mean, I just find this extremely disheartening. Of course, I asked why now. Obviously, I understand from Trump's side, they are using this as a strategy to try to garner votes. But I don't know why these rappers and I'll focus on just the people of color right now, because I feel like there's an extra responsibility for people of color. I don't think that this president has shown any support for people of color, and I think no person of color should be supporting this president. I understand having a seat at the table, which I think is what they're trying to do. However, you had 4 years to try to have a seat at the table and get something done, and you have not chosen to do that or were not welcome to do that. And I just don't think any person of color should be supporting this president and what he's done, because I think it gives permission for everything else. Everything else that's been bigotry,
the idea of endorsements, though. Let's roll back the idea of endorsements, because what Brandon was bringing up is the fact that who looks at endorsements? You know who looks at endorsements? The people who look at the people who are endorsing them. So, like, if I see the Chicago Tribune endorsing a candidate and I really like the Chicago Tribune, I'm like, why are they endorsing them? And then I go read about it and I learn more about a candidate in their viewpoint. So if you've got 50 Cent and you've got all these rappers endorsing a candidate that you don't believe in, but you love these rappers, then you're like scratching your head going, should I endorse these candidates? What do they like about them? Let me go look and learn more about them. So I think that that's the point of the endorsements, and it's a little weird sometimes, right?
Yeah, but if you're the kind of voter that's going to follow up and then do a reading of the issues, I think you're already someone who's politically engaged enough and know who you're going to vote for. And then you bring up Oprah, and the study did. That was for a primary candidate, and you have Barack Obama, who was a way lesser known senator running against Hillary Clinton in 2008. I could see that endorsement meaning anything. I think the one thing it does is it gives cover for voters who are on the fence. There's been a lot of talk about whether Trump is racist or not. Well, if all these rappers are going for him, maybe not so much. No, right? Like, maybe it gives them that cover.
Anyways,
we gotta go. It's like the Oscars. We'll be back.
Yeah.
I love the throw.
All right, the shopping season is pretty much upon us right now. 2020 is going to be a strange shopping year, I imagine. Financing can be tough sometimes, so here breaking it all down is this award-winning site. MyFab Finance is run by millennial money expert Tanya Rapley. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tanya.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk 2020 holiday spending first and foremost. It's going to be a weird year for people shopping this year.
It's weirdish, kind of. You
Okay.
know, for some of us, especially millennials and so forth, people who've been purchasing online, we're right at home. And people who are looking for deals, they're shopping too. So recent study from a firm found that 7 in 10 people have already begun their holiday shopping because they found good deals. They're not waiting until Black Friday or Cyber Monday. If they have the money right now or have the opportunity, they are buying those things rather than waiting. And retailers are also following suit. So the holiday shopping period actually started in October this year. And so rather than waiting until November and December and, you know, waiting until Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that whole week of deals, they're just offering them now earlier in advance. They're not really going to wait for the Black Friday push.
You know, everyone says have a budget for holiday season. And I think a lot of people blow that budget. Do you have any tips for staying within that budget this year, especially since money can be tight for a lot of folks?
Yeah, you know, the holiday season can be a real spending trap for people, and they spend the next year paying off any debt that they created. One of the things, you know, so buy now, pay later payment solutions have increased in popularity over the past year. And I recommend using Affirm because it gives people the flexibility to get the things they want now, and then they choose a payment schedule that works for their budget. So you can choose to pay every other week, or you can set up a payment term where you're paying once every 3 months and once every month for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. You can choose what works best for you, and they're transparent and flexible. Transparency is really important. A lot of people are afraid of credit card debt, understandably so, but the great thing with Affirm is that the purchase price when you check out, that's going to be your price over the term of the agreement. So you don't have to worry about any deferred interest creeping up on you or any hidden fees or anything of that nature that previously has come along with the option to pay later.
That's really smart because I've gotten in that trouble before of the 0% for so many months versus deferred interest, and it can just get confusing. So to keep track of it, that's an awesome way to do it. I also have a question. Is it awkward to let your family, your close family know, hey, I'm on a budget this year? Does that help you manage their expectations too?
It really does. I remember the year that my sister was buying her first house. She let everybody in the family know that she was not giving gifts that year because she was saving for her down payment. And we understood. I think that this year, like you mentioned at the beginning, is different from any other year. People are really being intentional and minding their budgets. And it's important to do that even throughout the holiday season. So making sure that you create that list of people that you're going to buy for, and then making sure you abide to that list of what you're going to purchase for them, so that you don't find yourself kind of just meandering online or in the store just buying things or just tossing things that you didn't have any intention on buying. So it is important to let people know what your parameters are and letting them know what your financial abilities are, but also making sure that people you are buying for, you're being wise and intentional about those purchases too.
A lot of great information at affirm.com, right?
Yes, you can find out more about the 6,000 retailers that accept Affirm and find out more about Affirm at affirm.com.
And MyFab Finance, I told you before we started, what I love about it, and what you hit this right off the top, is I think that we're like going to the doctor, like going to the dentist. A lot of us are afraid to go because we think we're going to get bad news. And you might get some shock when you go, but taking care of those problems is similar to finances. It starts to snowball and you start to gain control of it.
Exactly. And you go from a place where you were concerned to where you're proud about your finances, and, you know, effective budgeting and purchasing smart and utilizing all the solutions available to you is critical as you rebuild your finances.
So important. All right, Tanya, thank you so much for sharing these tips with us. We appreciate it. You can go to affirm.com for more information on that. And Tanya's website is myfabfinance.com. We got a pretty city.
Pretty city.
Yeah, so would you be willing to tell your family member? Like I'm telling you two straight up, I don't got the money to buy you gifts.
Wait a minute. Okay, because it's not just the holidays. My birthday is December 16th, too.
Well, you didn't give me anything last year. I didn't expect you to give me anything this year because you had money last year, right?
I barely knew you last year, Amy. All right, this year I had
That should be
something
the
really big
welcome to the
planned.
team.
Felicia, I'll give you a big old hug whenever in like next May.
Oh,
I
all I
don't want a
want.
COVID hug.
I just want a hug.
Push it off. A post-vaccine hug. Yeah, I'll give
You
one
owe
too,
me a
Amy.
cup of coffee.
Rocking and rolling through our Friday night show, which are always a blast. And guys, I just lied. I just made a huge lie. I do have gifts for you each. Okay? And they were the best part about it is they were provided by someone else. I didn't have to spend a dime. We featured Vinny, which is a great pastry place before on this show, and they're doing some really fun stuff. And they sent me a bunch of things, and I want to give them some shout outs.
They sent you things or they're sending us things?
They sent it to me, but I'm just the proxy. I'm the middleman. I will then forward it on to you guys eventually. They have these little baskets of pastries you can buy. This is like a Halloween one that has these really cute. Look at these little fingernails.
Oh, that's gross.
Little
that's
trick
awesome.
or treat cookie popcorn, and it had a bunch of candy in it that I already ate. This one goes to Amy because she liked Halloween. Take it, Amy.
I love Halloween.
Felicia, they also have like a little movie night in a popcorn thing that has popcorn, puppy chow, macarons, and some more candy in there, which is really great for movie night. And then election themed, they have macarons, and one of them has, I don't know if you guys can get this. Dan, you might have to take the one shot. Donald Trump and Joe Biden on macarons, and they're running like this little campaign. You can order single ones, or you can order like a dozen of them. And they have different pickup locations and all that stuff. And they're keeping track of who's going to win. And they will announce the results before the election. They're not endorsing anyone. They just wanted to make sure of that. But it's a lot of sugar, and I've had a lot of it already. So I'm going to send the rest of it to you guys. But they do some great stuff. They're located at 2108 North Clark. So just north of Armitage and Clark. But you can order online. Vinny It's like French vanilla. I don't know how you know how to spell
Oh.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got it.
I always called it macarons though. Is it macaroon? Like, how are you supposed to say it?
Macarons. Yeah.
What?
Sorry,
How do you say the
Or
French
do you kind of
president's
blend
name?
it?
Macron? Yeah, I think it's a blend of the president's name of France and the cookie. So macaron.
But they're going to be on Chicago Food to Go coming up, right?
Oh, sorry. That's Amy leading us to the next thing. Yes, they're coming up on Chicago Food to Go. They're not on this Sunday, but they're going to be on in the next couple of weeks. We love it. And guys, speaking of sweets, I'm giving all the candy and sweet news to read today. There is a really cool thing called Pie It Forward. Not Pay It Forward, but Pie It Forward. It took me a long time to figure that out. But the South Side does this. They do this pie challenge every year, and this year they're doing it virtually. But the way it's really cool is if you basically bake a pie and you send it to a friend or a family member, and then they have to bake 2 and keep on sending it out. You see, it's like a pyramid scheme, but with pie. And it's giving instead of taking. And also, along with it, you make a donation of $20 to a local food bank. But it could be like a Chicago food bank, like the depository, or it can, I've had so much coffee, or it can be like in Texas, all over the world. So as this thing grows exponentially, more people are raising awareness about food insecurity, which is a huge issue now more than ever. And pie.
Oh, well, I like
So it's not
their
necessarily
model too that says "Pie It Forward," but it sounds a little Southern, like "Pie It Forward."
And it's not necessarily a food pyramid scheme. It's more of a pay it forward kind of thing. So let's just kind of put that in a more, positive
But you know
light.
what I mean? Like 1 to 2 to 8, like it looks like a pyramid, but it's a pyramid of goodness. It's a pyramid
Right,
of
it's
pie.
not a scheme. It's a good thing.
Let's
Bernie
take the
Madoff
scheme
would not
part
be a part of
away.
it. Yeah, Bernie Madoff would not be a part of this scheme. He doesn't have the heart of this one. So it's really cool. Look it up and do it.
No more caffeine for you, John Hanson.
I do need to stop. Okay, let's keep going. News.
Go ahead. Brandon.
All right, Brandon Pope here with the news you need to know. So there's some new rules for bars and restaurants. They take effect officially tonight. Liquor sales must end by 11 p.m. and there is no more indoor dining. And if you still haven't sent in your mail-in ballot, no worries. Wrigley and Guaranteed Rate Field will have ballot drop-off boxes on Tuesday. Just make sure to get it in by 7 p.m. And President Trump has canceled his election watch party at Trump International Hotel in New York. No reason has been given for that, even though the campaign is struggling with money right now. The New York Times reports Trump will likely stay at the White House for that.
That's
Shocking move,
interesting.
guys?
I'm surprised because he's a little bit more of a pomp and circumstance type of a person. Is this a hint that he is concerned about how the election is going to go and he doesn't want to blow up something that might blow in his face a little bit? Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, like maybe he's being conservative about that issue.
Well, you also never want to tear up your own house. This is supposed to be at the Trump International Hotel. If some people are going to come riot, we know New York is a little blue, a lot of blue, then you don't want that to happen at your own house. Maybe he should have it someplace else.
We do know in 2016 he thought he was going to lose, and so he had a really small party because he said, if we're going to lose, I don't want it to be in a big ballroom, and that didn't happen. So I don't think we should read too much into it, but it seems different than what we're seeing on the campaign trail for the president.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure COVID-19 had something to do with it too, with the isolation protocols and stuff like that. Moving on here, a shocking move here by the NHL's Arizona Coyotes. They decided to cut ties with their top draft pick, Mitchell Miller, after a report dropped showing he bullied a black and disabled high school classmate in 2016. Pretty disgusting stuff. In the juvenile court, Miller admitted to tricking the student into eating candy from a urinal and also physically assaulting that student. Definitely very disgusting stuff. Miller did send a letter to all the NHL teams apologizing and, saying he's changed. However, the Coyotes say they want no. I found this interesting because we've seen stories like this before where athletes their old tweets are dug up and things like that. And I just wonder how much can we actually judge somebody off of the past? 2016, he's a junior in high school, senior in high school. People change, right?
It is so tough, right? Because I think there's something different between a tweet and using a word you shouldn't use and having someone eat candy out of a urinal. I think there's differences there, of course. And the NHL is trying to get a lot more black viewers, black players, that sort of thing. And this is just a bad look for them in general. But I do think there is a point where we have to say that teenagers do really terrible things and stupid things. And are we willing to forgive some of those things? And that's and this also is a whole different discussion. You can also forgive him, but then say, well, then you don't get to play professional hockey. Like, you can do both things at once.
Yeah.
So for me, this is really a tough one.
Yeah, I'm super duper torn too. Noting that he did go to juvenile court and he was sentenced to community service. So in theory, according to our legal system, he paid his debt to society. So why is he having to pay again right now? But I mean, what it came out that he was doing, the whole candy in the urinal, it's just, it sounds horrible.
Ooh, me. Okay, so here's the thing. Did any of you guys do these things in high school?
No.
And you know what?
I was a bully, but I didn't do that.
You were allowed to move on to your life and be successful because you didn't screw up. And I don't necessarily completely blame him. Obviously, there's some poor parenting involved in that too, right? There are issues, and there are probably issues that need to happen after that. But that is something that is, I feel like, kind of rooted deep. That if you get to that point in high school, you're that kind of bully, you got problems. And that is a different level than just being a kid who like shoves a kid in the locker. You shove a kid in the locker and you make fun of him, fine. You make him eat candy out of a urinal, you got problems. And that's something the NHL should have looked at way long ago.
I think we're all just really torn on this. But
It's
again, you made some good points, Amy.
I've said words that I regret before. But you're right. I've never done anything like that. So, all right, Chris, over to you.
All right, guys, your weekend TV lineup just got better. I'll tell you about it in trending right after this.
Like right now?
Like soon, Felicia. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Welcome back, everybody. She's an educator and one of the first in her family to graduate college. Democrat Danny Brzezowski is running against Republican incumbent Adam Kinzinger in the 16th Congressional District. She joins us now to talk a little bit about her stance in the race. We're coming up on election night. And Danny, are you concerned at all about going up against a guy who spent a decade already in politics?
No, At the beginning of the race, I think the incumbency effect felt really strong and it felt like it might be working against us. But at this point, after talking to so many thousands of voters over the course of the past 14 months, what I think I and my team have heard resoundingly from those constituents is that people are ready for change. People recognize that Kinzinger's got a 10-year voting record against their better interests, and they are eager for somebody like me to be representing them.
You are an educator who pushes for equity in education. And we've seen during this pandemic that it has exposed a lot of inequities within our education system. How can we fix this?
Yeah, so I think the pandemic has really exacerbated and in many cases demonstrated inequities that many of us have known existed for a really long time. What we need for the education system in the near term, right, over the course of this pandemic, our public education system, as you're well aware, was tremendously overburdened to start. And asking our teachers and our administrators, our public schools to take on so much more burden over the course of the past 7 months has been, it's just too much. And so we need immediate federal relief for our public school system. We need to make sure that we are investing in not just the health and safety of our students, but our teachers, our administrators, and our communities. So much starts with the schools, and we need to make sure that we're providing them with the resources they need to mitigate risk to public health and safety.
So you live in seems to me, very unique area of Illinois. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I am assuming that you guys are very split, Democratic and Republican. And you talk about COVID, you talk about President Trump, there's all these things out there that are so splitting. How do you get that community to come together?
Yeah, so I think the big thing, and I always say on the campaign trail that coalition building is my superpower, and it really is true. And for me, the big thing is that when I'm talking to voters, which I do all the time, I'm always bringing people together, and I'm doing that by being as authentic and relatable as possible. When I talk to people, regardless of where they fall on the ideological spectrum, and regardless of whether we might disagree on the nuances of solutions to our problems, number one, we agree on what the problems are. And number two, people walk away from a conversation with me knowing, believing in their gut that I'm going to fight for what I believe is in their best interest. And they believe that because it's absolutely true. I come at the work of politics from the perspective of someone who is a little bit idealistic. And that means that I'm in it for reasons that to many voters just seem right, because I'm fighting for the things that really matter to them.
Okay. Can we talk about the economy? A lot of small businesses suffering right now during this time. Obviously, the regulations that are being put in place. What do you think about what Governor Pritzker has just done, the restrictions that he's just put in place recently?
Yeah, so listen, I think that it's really necessary for us to reopen the economy. Absolutely. I owned a small business for a period of several years. I was very active in economic development. I served on the board of our business association, which is like our Chamber of Commerce here in LaSalle. I know how hard small business owners are working. I know how thin those profit margins often are. We have to be careful. We have to be mitigating risks to public health and safety. And when there was no leadership at the federal level from people like President Trump and my opponent, Adam Kinzinger, we had leadership, competent, compassionate leadership in Governor Pritzker. And though I know that these decisions that he's made have occasionally been unpopular and that these decisions are really, really difficult, I also think they're extraordinarily necessary. And I commend his leadership for making decisions that he knows are going to be really unpopular with particular subsets of people. This is another place where the federal legislature has to make moves. The gridlock in Congress that has prevented passage of any meaningful relief since the CARES Act at the very outset of the pandemic is an absolute abomination. It's incredibly frustrating for me, even as a constituent, not even as a candidate running for the House. It has been incredibly frustrating to look around and see so many people, my friends, family, and neighbors, struggling and suffering. People can't pay their bills. Nobody can make their rent. Everybody is having a hard time. And for the federal legislature to have and it's not even, they haven't even fallen down on the job. They've refused to do the job. And for that to have happened for such a long period of time is so frustrating.
Yeah. Okay, Danny. Well, we know there are so many issues and never enough time, but we certainly appreciate you giving us what we got. We have to move on. Thank you for your time. And of course, good luck in the election.
Appreciate
we
it.
should
Take
note
care.
to the audience that we did reach out to Representative Adam Kinzinger, and he was not available because he's currently serving in the National Guard. So we just wanted to make that clear. Also, make sure you check out more of Danny and everything that she's about on social media and at DannyForIllinois.com. John.
All right, well, this past spring, you probably remember the big push we did with CD1 price cleaners to get gently used clothes to Chicagoans in need. And guess what? It was so successful that we're going to do it again. This time, we need your help to keep kids warm this winter. What could be more important? Just bring gently used coats to participating CD1 price cleaners and help a struggling kid stay warm.
The number one thing we'd like to get is kid coats. Obviously, this 2020 has certainly dealt us a lot of things to deal with, and this COVID pandemic has changed everybody's lives and how we're doing business and how we work together as communities. And it's important to give back as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the information right there. CD1 price locations accepting donations Monday through the end of November. CW26Chicago.com is where you find more information, and we'll be right back.
I have got some great 2020 news for you. Chappelle's Show is coming to Netflix. So this is the sketch comedy show that the comedian is best known for. And the teasers were all hilariously inappropriate that I can't even show you. So if you're interested, tune in this Sunday, November 1st on Netflix, of course. So good. The internet's popping off about that, but they're also popping off about The Mandalorian. Now, everyone went crazy for Baby Yoda, aka the child, when this show made its debut about a year ago. And the second season dropped, and fans are saying it just might meet their expectations. So the premiere features a ton of creatures and aliens looping back into the trilogy. You can stream this now on Disney+. Brandon Pope said it was good, so it must be good. And guys, it's Friday. Y'all know I got a new Now Try This on my IGTV and Facebook Watch series. Today, I'm showing you how to celebrate Halloween at home, because just because 2020 is keeping us inside doesn't mean we can't have a little party for ourselves. So Laura Rietzma of Fierce Productions shows us some really cool ways you can still celebrate. Please tell me you guys aren't totally canceling Halloween and you're celebrating a little at home. Felicia, don't even start with me, okay? I'm just going to skip over you. Amy John, please tell me.
What?
Are you celebrating? You hate Halloween.
Are you celebrating?
Wait a minute, girl. I can show you better than I can tell you. How am I celebrating Halloween at home? Oh, okay. It's going to be a great Halloween, a wonderful Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Enrique, get the jack. That's how I feel.
Any day ending in Y, Felicia.
That's how I'll be celebrating Halloween at home. I don't have kids yet, so I'll be the kid.
I do have your candy. You're wearing orange and black today, so thank you for doing that.
Let me get my Vinay basket. This is what I'm doing. Eating this basket.
wish-
Wait, that's supposed to be mine. You were sending it to me, John. You said
I
they were
wish you
sending
could
it to
send
me.
that over here.
We'll see about that. Yeah, exactly.
I have a whole day planned. Involves a parade, involves trick-or-treating, socially distanced. We're going to have pizza, an outdoor movie. Don't you wish you were a suburban mom?
I do.
Felicia does. I was going to say, that is her dream. She cannot wait to be a suburban housewife. She's going to move out to Mundelein or something and just roll in that soccer van and just be the best mom ever.
Felicia, come to my house for like a hot second. You will change your mind, girl.
Right. Built-in birth control.
I'm so impressed. I'm impressed with everybody. Amy, I'm impressed with your lineup. John, I'm impressed that you had that Halloween bucket next to you. And Felicia, drink for all of us, please.
Yes, drink for all of us.
And I'm wearing orange.
In orange. I love it. This is wonderful.
I know, you're festive.
More Halloween
That
fun.
was done on
When we
accident.
come back.
Comment on my
Guys are in
skeleton
the
here.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Hey, it's my favorite jam people there. So are they in costume or not? I can't really tell. Anyway, I just wanted to wish you guys a happy Halloween. With Halloween coming up, I think there's some important little tips that I can give you. First of all, it's Halloween. Wear a mask. You know, I know you usually do. And they always say the thing about, oh, wearing makeup is much safer. Not this year. Wear a mask. And the other thing is social distancing. My suggestion is take a good social distance from any house that's handing out those pre-made popcorn balls. Those are disgusting. Anyway, I hope everybody has a happy Halloween. I know it's a little different from the way that it usually is, but I will see you on Halloween night, Saturday night, on MeTV with Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Sounds like a bad date.
Oh, shoot, I forgot. Hold on. Be right back.
I like Felicia.
Oh, John, come on. Yes, look at you guys. You look good. Felicia.
I'm a
loving
suburban
it.
housewife.
Hold on. I went in the closet.
And we got Baby Yoda in.
I got a tool chest. Oh,
Yay!
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. Rudy, our producer, made it in for the show.
Oh.
Look at that. Isn't that a great spread?
We got Baby Yoda. We got some candy. Come play. My skull.
He's ready.
That's
Is that
ready
a
for the
Christmas-
Mandalorian.
Is that a Christmas tree next to the table, Rudy?
No.
It's black and orange. It's a Halloween tree.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you're gonna catch it on fire.
Fake fire. It's fake fire. He has little kids at home. It's fake fire.
Oh, okay. I can't see that well.
Felicia, are you Carmen Sandiego?
No,
That's
I'm on
so
Real,
good, John.
I'm on Real Housewives. I'm a suburban housewife.
I don't wear fabulous hats like that. I'm a suburban housewife. This is my fabulous hat right now.
Oh, well, I got 2 chefs and 2 nannies, so I got time.
Oh. Let's look at some fun pictures, though. We've got the whole group through the years, little Halloween photos here and there. What do we have first? Oh, all right. So this is, my sister sent this to me today because I asked her because I knew she had the picture. She goes, "What are you?" I am the blue-haired kid in the back. I was a ghoul. My sister is a cheerleader, and those are two of our friends, a bunny and a devil. All right, who's next?
Cute.
Oh,
This
Felicia.
is me. So that's my brother. He's a ninja, clearly. I'm Princess Jasmine, but because I live in Chicago, I have a turtleneck underneath my costume.
Who's
My
next?
mom made
Oh,
it.
I'm the Tin Man. My mom
Tin
made that
Man.
costume. My mom
So
made all my
amazing.
costumes. She did Halloween right. Who else we got?
So cute.
Oh,
Oh,
it's great.
Krista.
Like Marsha. My mom made
That
all
was
my
what, 5 years
costumes
ago?
too. I don't know if she made this one. Yeah, that was really recent.
Look at
Brandon.
Be
God.
dope.
Have a great weekend,
Happy
everyone.
Halloween. Cheers.